Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to your favorite show, Online Marketing Moves. And we are coming to you live today. Today is Wednesday, August or something another. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? Come on in, come on in, come on in. Ladies and gentlemen, today, make America young again, okay? I was just thinking about this. There are two, I was thinking about being sold or being or selling or being sold too. There's always like two ways you can go about a lot of things in life. Some things are not black and white, but most things are black and white. You can either be sold or you can be sold too. Okay. And the reason why I bring this up, because when you are trying to start a podcast, you are trying to promote your message, you're trying to get your message across, you are either telling your message or you are being sold a message to. And you do not want to be one of these people who are always on social media, always looking around, always watching, never participating. You want to be participating. This is how you create content. You don't want to be one of these people who just sitting there watching, consuming a bunch of content, a bunch of content, a bunch of content, a bunch of content. Because after a while, I'll be honest with you. I don't watch that much content. I'll be honest with you. Listen, I got my own content to create. I don't care about. I watch less and less every week. It gets less and less. I don't want to hear nobody's opinions. I don't care to hear nobody's opinions. Um, if it's the subject that I want to talk about, I'll look it up. After that, that's it. I don't want to really. No, I got my own selling. I don't need to be sold to. It's like whenever you go to LinkedIn and LinkedIn sucks. I can be honest with you. It sucks because anytime you go over there and you write a post, or you're trying to write about I post about the podcast. There's always somebody 2 minutes later. Hey, you want to check into my course? No, I do not. No, I don't give a damn about your course. Sorry, Lord. I don't give a damn about your course. I don't give a damn about what you got going on. Man, listen, you see me posting this podcast. I'm trying to get this podcast up and running. I don't got time to be, you either gonna be sold or you're gonna be doing some selling. You either gonna be creating content or you're gonna be watching content. Make America young again. The reason why I bring up Make America Young Again is because, as I told you, and I know we're going all over the place, but stick with me. As I told you, you're either gonna be sold or get sold too. And, you know, it's like with the Trump thing. People love Trump or they hate Trump. Whenever you create content, you're anti-Trump, super anti-Trump, or you're for Trump, you know? And you know why people do that. People create, and a lot of times, I'll be honest, man, a lot of times the content the content that people create is phony anyway. So you're really not learning nothing. I'm, I mean, people create content so they can make money. They really don't create content to inform you. They start off entertaining you, but then you start to sniff around and you start to, you see a few dollar signs, and then you run with it. Then you go for it. Uh, they see people getting paid to guest to appear on different podcasts. It's like It's like that doctor lady. It was a doctor lady. She was on a show with Cam Newton, and she was talking about men and blah 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 blah. And it's like, is she even really a doctor? She just be creating content to be creating content. Bashing men. Bashing men is a way to make money. You got to go anti-man. Oh, men are evil. Men are the devil. Blah 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 blah. And now all of a sudden, oh, if a man don't pay 100% of your bills, you need to leave him. He ain't no good. He's trash. Blah 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 blah. You see where I'm going with this? You're either gonna be sold or do the seller. If I was you, I would either create content or will not watch anybody's content. That's it. I hate to go extreme with you, but I'm just gonna be honest with you, because the more and more the little content you do see, you realize, man, it's so fake, man. And now people with the AI is a joke. Don't think, oh man, AI is gonna come in and do this and do that. Listen, AI is a joke. AI is it's not that great. I remember I tried to get AI to help me transcribe a podcast. It was trash. It was just so general, and it was no good. So uh, I would not rely on AI. I would, a lot of people tell you, oh, AI is the future. Man, people are stupid, and people are borderline retarded at this point in life. And I realized, me personally, I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna be the biggest podcast in the world, because I'm not going to sit here and coon and buffoon. We are not gonna be we are not gonna be tap dancing. We are not gonna be shucking and jiving. We're not gonna be playing that game for views and likes. This is straightforward, all ships ahead, common sense, practical stuff that you can use in your everyday life and in your everyday world to create the content that you want to create. It's nothing flashy. It's nothing gimmicky. We ain't gonna do. We ain't a gimmick. We don't do gimmicks. We don't do tricks. We don't do screaming at the top of my lungs. Not gonna play fight with nobody to get numbers up, views up, and all that jazz. So in the world of, you could be entertaining. You don't have to be a buffoon. We all know that. But people like buffoons. People like the clown at the circus. They claim they don't, but they really do. People like drama. People like mess. They claim they don't, but they do. People say they like positivity. They really don't. They like everything negative. Okay? It's just the way it is. And so, if you really want to, you're going to be sold, or you're going to get sold too. You're going to create content, or you're going to sit there and watch content all day. And the content, ladies and gentlemen, is pure D crap. Okay? I'm just going to tell you that up front. I'm gonna be very honest with you. 90% of the content that you see online is garbage. Okay? And so you think to yourself, man, how could I mean, it's not hard, ladies and gentlemen. It is not hard at all. You see them every day. They create content. They make stuff up. They make facts up. They take opinions and try to push them off as facts. These people, the only thing they've done is went on Instagram and bought advertising. They went on Facebook and bought advertising. They might be ahead of you because they bought advertising. That does not mean you can't surpass anybody. Okay? Yes, you can have opinions. Yes, you can't be wishy-washy. You can't be straddling the fence. You can have opinions. But we all know a lot of people don't believe a lot of people don't believe the own opinions they have. I saw a clip. This guy, was talking about, um he was WNBA person, and he was talking about um Angel Reese. No, yeah, Angel Reese is better than this girl named Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston was the number one pick out of South Carolina, and he said Angel Reese is better than Aaliyah Boston. I thought, I don't watch a lot of WNBA, but I know one thing. Aaliyah Boston was a top pick. She was the star in South Carolina. She's the star on the Indiana Fever, and not to say Angel Reese is a good player. Angel Reese is a great player in her own right. But she ain't no Aaliyah Boston, okay? Aaliyah Boston is a number can be a number one option. Okay? Angel Reese cannot be a number one option. Angel Reese is great. Get a rebound, put back. If she gets a low post move, if develops a low post game, yep. But for right now, no. But we all know this day and age, the WNBA gets a lot of views. The WNBA gets a lot of clicks. So now you see more and more people making comments about the WNBA. They probably never watched a WNBA game until this year, but that's okay. But they say things like, "Oh, Caitlin Clark, blah blah blah." Look, Caitlin Clark is a great NBA play, a great women's basketball player. Is she the greatest of all time? Okay, she is great. They hit the commercial lottery with Miss Caitlin Clark. That is nice. That is sweet. Okay, but we all know we all know there are racial tones to the message. So if you like Caitlin Clark, you know, you're gonna get a lot of likes and views. If you don't like Caitlin Clark, you're gonna get a lot of likes and views. Be sold or be sold to create content or watch content all day. What do you want to do? Ladies and gentlemen, there's a million ways you can go about this. There's a million ways that you can create content and you can start making money for yourself and for the ones you love. And creating content is the way to go. Would I sit there if I was you and watch content all day? No. Watch TV if you're gonna watch something all day. Don't watch YouTube. YouTube, but just break your brain. Okay. Most of it is just a bunch of people with opinions. Okay, not facts, just opinions. Um, Man, I read the Bible every day, and every now and then I'll go to Google or something and look up, and you got these people that scholars or whatever, and you know, God roamed the earth, Jesus roamed the earth many, many moons ago. And you'll have people all the time, oh man, how's God real? Da, 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 da. Okay. You're never gonna convince me. It doesn't matter what you say to me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm never gonna be convinced that God ain't real. You're not gonna walk me off that. You're not gonna walk me off that line. I'm not gonna try to convince you. I don't need you trying to convince me. I always laugh when people say, well, if God was real, then blah 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 blah. Hey man, listen. Your beliefs are your beliefs, my beliefs are my beliefs. That's it. At the end of the day, I really don't care your beliefs. I don't care about anybody's beliefs, to be honest with you. You could be my best friend. Whether you believe in God or not, that's not up to me, man. That's up to you. If you do, great. If somebody wants to pray with me, great. Then we can do that. If somebody don't want to pray, if somebody's not into praying, not into church, not into the Bible, that's perfectly fine. I got a brother, he used to go to church. He stopped going. He don't go no more. We don't. Every now and then I'll text him and say, "Hey man, I'm going to church today. What about you?" He'll text back laughing. Nah, not today. Maybe next time. That's it. I ain't got no problem with my brother. Um, there's no issue. There's no reprimand. There's no, hey, you should be going. Uh, I'm not here for that. I you shouldn't be there for that. All we can do is the things that we can do. We can control. And if you want to make money online, you can control it by start creating content. It does not matter whether it be gardening, whether it be, talking about God, whether it be talking about the WNBA, whether it be talking about politics, it does not matter. What you want to do is, of course, you have an opinion. You entertain the audience. You don't have to do it in a. You don't. You can entertain people however you entertain them. Do you have to be Don Rickles? Nope. Do you have to be George Carlin? Nope. Do you have to be Richard Pryor? Nope. Do you have to be super duper funny? Nope. We all have a wit about us. We all have funny things about us. We all have things that are entertaining. We all have some sort of charm because we can attract an audience because listen, if you can attract a husband, a wife, then you can attract an audience. Okay, that is one of the harder things to do is find somebody that wants to be with you for life. Okay, we all know, no matter that you've been in relationships, and we all know that a lot of times, if you really boil it down, when it comes to a relationship, in your whole life, there are only gonna be one or two people that you might have dated or whatever that really that really care about you. Okay. Other than that, most of the time it's transactional. I'm sorry to tell you that, ladies and gentlemen, but it's a fact. Sometimes you catch somebody, they just got out of a relationship, and you're nice, and you're the complete opposite of what they've been dating. So they're like, "Oh my God, I want to date you." And then that'll last for a little while, then eventually that'll wear off, and they'll go back to creatures of habit. They'll go back to whoever they was been dating. Okay. Um, you move to a new town, you grew up in the one town and you only know a certain group of people, and you date them for a little while. Blah 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 blah. Everything. A lot of things are transactional. Friendships are transactional. A lot of relationships are transactional. They're not many, and it's not a bad. I'm not saying just shun everybody. Listen, if when you get my age, you realize I've already known that. Listen, a lot of. I mean, I have. I mean, man, listen. I know my wife. She if I drop dead today, my wife will cry, my mom will cry, my daughter will cry. I got two or three friends. They'll be hurt. The rest of the world is gonna go on with their day. Okay, and that's okay. That's a-okay. You will find another podcast to listen to. You might go back and listen to. You might go back. Well, people are morbid. They'll go back. If I drop dead today, they'll go back and say, "Oh man, I'm gonna go back and listen to that podcast, man. I miss him, man." And then after a couple of days, man, they'll move on real quick. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is, man. It's not a big deal. But be sold or be sold too. Create content or watch content all day. But if I was you, if you don't want to create content, well, first off, if you don't want to create content, why are you listening to the show? Second off, if you don't want to create content, watch TV. Do not watch YouTube all day. Go watch Seinfeld. Go watch Frasier. Go watch The Cosby Show. Go watch Family Ties. Go watch Breaking Bad. Go watch Saul. Go watch Stephen Colbert in his last season. Enjoy TV. Enjoy the movies. But don't sit there and watch YouTube, because it's nothing but 99%. I said 90% earlier. Now I said 99%. Which one is it, huh? We'll go back to 90%. It's 90% garbage. What did my man Denzel say in the movie? I like reading the paper because it's 90% bullshit. You won't let me read it, so you entertain me with your bullshit. Okay? Sorry, Lord. But, ladies and gents, you're either gonna be creating content or you're gonna be watching content all day. Pick one and go with it, okay? And once you start creating content, ladies and gentlemen, so you can start putting yourself in a position, and as I told you before, you create the content, cut up the content, post the content everywhere, buy ads. There's a whole thing you're gonna do, and we're gonna start breaking it down when it comes to content. Pay for the ad, get the ad. Boost them on Facebook, boost them on Twitter, boost them on YouTube, boost them everywhere. Pay for it. You are in the time where if you start paying and you start promoting, you start pushing it, your content, you get it out there, you can make some headway. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow with all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, in the meantime and in between time, ladies and gentlemen, I am Tony Rizano. Thank you for listening. God bless each and every one of you. And as always, everybody, peace.